Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is gonna be very important because we are gonna talk about a very important topic that most of the people are unclear about it. So I hope this video helps to give some clarity regarding it. So let me come on to the topic. The topic is taxability of mutual funds. Okay, so this is a very important topic. Why? Because invest to kar liya, but we should know the taxation aspects of mutual funds as well, right? So in this video I will be telling you about the taxability of mutual funds. I will be covering 4 points in which I will cover everything related to the taxation of mutual funds. You can see the 4 points here. Coming to the first point, so we will start from the very base and then we will move on to the next point and next point. Coming to the base point, that is the first point, that is what kind of income do we have from mutual funds. Okay, so किस तरह की income हमें होती है म्यूचुअल फंड से. हमें दो तरह की income हो सकती है म्यूचुअल फंड से. एक तो dividend, one is dividend and the other is capital gain. Now by capital gain I simply mean the gains that you get on selling mutual funds. Okay, the selling price minus cost price, that is my capital gain. ठीक है, अब डिविडेंड का पॉइंट तो हम यहीं कंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. कैसे? क्योंकि डिविडेंड पे टैक्स आपको पे करना ही नहीं है. डिविडेंड पे कंपनी यानी जो आपकी म्यूचुअल फंड कंपनी होगी, जो एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी होगी, वो ही डीडीटी पे कर देगी एंड आफ्टर दैट आपको आपका इनकम दे देती है वो अपना डीडीटी पे करने के बाद. ओके, आपको डिविडेंड आफ्टर डीडीटी मिल जाता है. सो यू डोंट हैव टू पे anything, you don't have to pay any tax on it because the AMC, the asset management companies, has already paid dividend distribution tax on it. So that is the conclusion for dividend. Coming to capital gains, जिस पे आपको tax pay करना है, we will talk about it in the next points. Okay, so the second point is under what head of income is the capital gains on mutual fund taxed under the Income Tax Act. So we all know that Income Tax Act में there are various heads like income under the head salary, income under the head business profession, income under the head other sources, income under the head house property, and one head is of course income under the head capital gains. So of course capital gains for mutual funds are taxed under the head capital gains. ठीक है, now in income tax there are two types of capital gains based on the tenure, based on the holding of the investment. One is short term capital gain and the other is long term capital gains. Okay, I hope the first 2 points are clear to you. Let me repeat. The first point was what kind of income do we have from mutual funds, and the second point was under what head of income tax is capital gains on income tax taxed. Now let me give you a brief of the third and the fourth point. So based on the tax implications, there are two types of mutual funds. Okay, because tax rules are different for both. One is equity oriented mutual funds and the other is debt oriented mutual funds. So in point number 3 I will be talking about equity oriented mutual funds, and in point number 4 I will be talking about debt oriented mutual funds. So coming to point number 3, that is taxability of equity oriented mutual funds. I will be talking about the tax rates for equity oriented mutual funds. So as I said earlier, there are two types of capital gains under the head capital gains. One is short term capital gains and other is the long term capital gain. So there is different rate for long term and short term both. Okay, so now the first question arises कि how we will determine that it is a short term capital gain or is it a long term capital gain for equity oriented mutual funds. Okay, so if you are holding the mutual funds up to 12 months तक यानी 1 साल तक अगर आप होल्ड करते हो किसी इक्विटी ओरिएंटेड म्यूचुअल फंड्स को, तो वो शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन होता है. And if you are holding it for more than 12 months, then it becomes long term capital gain. Okay, so the tax rate for short term capital gains on equity oriented mutual funds is 15%. It is flat 15%, and the tax rate for long term capital gains on equity oriented mutual funds is 10%. Okay, now it has a very important point here, that is लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन अगर आपको होता है ऑन इक्विटी ओरिएंटेड म्यूचुअल फंड्स, देन इट इज exempt अप टू 1 lakh per annum. Okay, suppose you have a long term capital gain of 1,50,000, ठीक है, on equity oriented mutual funds in a financial year, then 1 lakh is exempt and the rest, that is rupees 50,000, is taxable at the rate of 10%. I hope it is clear. So for short term it was 15%, for long term it was 10%. However, you have an exemption for long term capital gains, that is up to 1 lakh, it is fully exempt. After 1 lakh it is taxable at the rate of 10%. So this was my third point, that was for equity oriented mutual funds. Coming to the fourth point, that is taxability of debt oriented mutual funds. Okay, so debt oriented mutual funds, maybe taxability के लिए we have to see whether it is short term or it is long term, but here the rule changes for determining whether it is short term or long term, because in equity oriented it was 12 months. Okay, here it is 36 months, that is 3 years. If you are holding an investment for up to 36 months, then it is short term capital gain, and if you are holding a debt oriented mutual funds for more than 36 months, then it is a long term capital gain for you. Okay, now coming to the tax rate, the tax rate for short term capital gains, it is simply tax at the rate slab rate for you. जो भी आपका स्लैब रेट होगा उसी पे आपका टैक्स हो जाएगा, ठीक है, शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन्स. whereas long term capital gains will be taxed at the rate 20%, but here you will get one benefit, that is indexation benefits. Your purchase cost will be adjusted with cost inflation index. Okay, so it will be, you will get a lesser amount of tax because of that. Okay, so for debt oriented we saw that for short term it is slab rate, and for long term it is 20% with indexation benefit. I hope it's clear to you. Okay, and so you should, as an aware investor, you should know the taxability of your investment also. I hope this video helped you. In total we talked about 4 points. Let me repeat them. Number 1, what kind of income do we have from mutual funds? Okay, number 2 was your under which head of income is capital gains on mutual fund taxed. Number 3 was for equity oriented mutual funds, the taxability of equity oriented mutual funds, and number 4 was for taxability of debt oriented mutual funds. I hope I have covered everything and it helps to you. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments box below, and I am happy to help you for that. Till then, take care. Bye bye.